It all comes together.
Does it really?
No. No, it
Okay.
doesn't actually come together in Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. Never has, never will.
That's an Ultra Sun and Moon, but then it doesn't.
It could. It potentially could have, but Um, I don't think it's a secret to anyone on this channel. For at least over the past 3 years, it's been 3 years since Sword and Shield has really been announced.
Damn,
Damn, I
time
mean,
flies.
really like 6 years that we've all been disappointed in Pokemon and the newer releases of Pokemon. Not really, you know, like the older versions. Like we've talked about BDSP. We'll eventually get to Legends Arceus at some point. Um, but I don't think it's a secret that we don't like modern Pokemon right now, and
Yeah,
there are some things that I think there are wants, like there are legitimate criticisms that are on here, but there are also things that I would like to see that I've written down, and I'm sure there are things that we would all like to see that aren't just heavily criticizing the game as well, just little minute things that it would be like, oh, that would be cool. But otherwise, I'm here, Kyle, joined by Nick,
Yeah.
Jack,
that's me.
and Neil.
Hello.
We're gonna talk about Pokemon because I feel like that's something we love to talk about. So I'll start off. I'll read something on my list because if I just think it's funny to start the video like this because I've been clamoring about them forever. I just want megas. I just want new megas. That's all I want. I don't care about like Z move gimmick or Pokemon being giant or I don't know what was a gimmick in Arceus looking like trash.
Yup.
Um I don't know. Um I don't know. I just want in all realness, it is kind of the original gimmick and it worked. And they had something with it. You didn't have to have like a billion of them. Like I think they had like 36 from each game, being ORAS and X and Y. Just put 10 in a game. You now have regional variants. You do like 10 of those and then 10 new megas. And then like we don't have to rely on a gimmick. We just have to have Pokemon. And because the last two games have been their stories heavily relied on kind of the new gimmick with maybe not Sun and Moon specifically, but Ultra Sun and Moon kind of did with Necrozma, and then we had the Dynamaxing situation in Sword and Shield that was legitimately the story, where there were just giant mons for whatever reason. So I don't know, like I don't think it's that hard of an ask. This is just more of my want. I would just prefer if we stopped having gimmicks, which I will get into more as the personal things I wrote down. But I don't know. I just like megas. I just thought they were always cool. How do you guys feel about everything?
Megas are Omega Pog. They're
Yeah,
very cool. Um,
That is extremely base, and I agree.
yeah.
yeah, they're they're very cool. Uh, I do understand that they still run into the technical problem of like you still have to give the Pokemon like Mega Stones. Like you still have to like find a way to naturally have that happen. But I don't know. It's not the worst thing in the world. You could even save it for post game, honestly, or you could even just people complain like, how come I can only mega certain Pokemon at a certain point in the game? It's like fuck you. That's how it is. Are you in or out? Like
Yeah.
And I don't know. I always thought they were cool because it's like it's they have their cake and eat it too. It's a fourth evolution Pokemon without what do you call it, without
Constant
having to make
evolution.
fourth evolutions. Yeah, and it's cool. Like it's a cool give and take mechanic. Like yeah, you could just just free like Mega right now, but do you honestly want to? Like, is that a good idea at the moment?
Yeah.
That was like a fun, like, like oh shit moment. Everyone kind of had to find themselves in.
Yeah. Very, very true. Cause like you could have multiple of mons that could mega, but at a moment like you could be like, okay, this one maybe I don't want to mega right now in this battle, but this one I do, and it would work a lot better if Pokemon was hard, but um, I don't know, like I always thought it'd be really cool if Raichu got a mega and it was like the fabled Goruchu. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it was like one of the beta
Yeah.
designs. Um,
It is funny that Pikachu did not get a Mega.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like Raichu, because Raichu would have had to get a Mega, not
Yeah.
Pikachu.
You know,
Pikachu got a
Exactly.
Dynamax though.
it did. They literally used nostalgia in that too, which is like crazy to think about. Cause like it's literally just what like Pikachu it looked like either it was like a shot in the anime or like one of the old TCG cards. Um,
Fucking,
you know,
like I got.
all right. What do you guys got? Anything? Just name off something you would like to see in the next Pokemon.
Neil, you want to go or?
You could go first if you
Let me
want.
think about this. Personally, I would. I don't know. I would like Megas. I'd like a challenge. I would like the game to not be easy. I know that's asking a lot from the children's card game, but
The
I'm
children's
stupid.
card game, yes.
I'm stupid. But yeah, no, I want challenge. Like I want like Gen 4. Like I want the like Gen 4 challenge to be like the staple. Like I want that to be the series' easy mode. Like I just want like cool shit. Like I want to really fall in love with the just going around beating people up for lunch money for Pokemon while still just having fun. Like I don't know. I like all the Pokemon back. It's hard to say because at my core I just want a good Pokemon game.
Yup. I agree. I actually had both of those things written down. I had hard mode, and then I also had all Mons back. I'm gonna start with all Mons back. Like, why? If you're not gonna remake anything, or you're not gonna like actually remake animations, and you're just gonna port over things, like, why does it matter if not all of the Pokemon are there?
So they can sell them back to you in a $30 DLC.
It's fine if that's the case when all of them actually do come back.
I think that's pretty egregious. I think that's pretty shitty business strat.
It
To be like,
is.
hey,
Yeah.
like, and I get it. It's money talks, and that's what makes the world go round. But there's a difference from like making it that doesn't absolve you of having a good or bad business decision.
No.
Like it very clearly like Pokemon made a lot of money, but like for any fan over the age of 12, it did not put Pokemon in a good light.
Like Sword and Shield was like one like bad news situation after another.
Like it's pretty bad for like the biggest news story for like the best press it got is, guys, you can catch Gibble now.
You know,
And
At a reasonable time.
it's like the problem isn't catching it. It's like the problem is I should be able to own it in the first place. Like if I trade it over, and they were like, yeah, no.
the issue with it, yeah, like I think like the issue is that like not even from the DLC it was every mon. There were six you only had from the DLC like without it you only had 600 mons with DLC. 400, that is under half of the original Pokédex base game. it's
Weird.
it's weird. It's disgusting. It's what is it in like what about in like 3 generations? It's like somebody like finally waits for I don't know what mon wasn't in like Gen 8. Like that was kind of I don't know. Let's name Feraligatr cuz why not? Feraligatr
Yeah.
wasn't.
It is kind of funny that like a lot of starters didn't get in.
You know?
Yeah, like, wouldn't that be the one thing? Like, oh hey, let's
Yeah,
cut
like we
some
should get all the
mons, but
starters.
let's put
Why
all
the
the starters,
You
because
know?
they're starters.
We're
they're like the most iconic Pokemon of their generation because they're like the ones you start with.
you know,
Everyone has one of the three.
like we're not going to talk about like they were in BDSP or they were in Arceus whatever. We're just going to talk about Gen 8 specifically. It's kind of egregious that like cuz Feraligatr popularity wise, I'm a Typhlosion guy. Um but Feraligatr is the most popular out of all three. Like that is known. So like to have like that being gone is just insane to me to think about.
Yeah, like I think it's like it's mainly to me it's only egregious because they did not actually improve the game at all. Like if the game was way better and they had to genuinely cut like half of the Pokédex, that's fine, but that's not what happened.
You know?
Instead, we got a poor product and have less Pokemon. So it's like at least in older games, it's like oh, I don't like the Pokemon, but hey, at least I got my favorite giraffe, my trusty Girafarig here. But it's like now it's like you don't even have that, so it's like there's really no saving grace there, and that's kind of what makes people even more mad.
I completely agree with you. That's what gets me mad. I don't care about the Mons being gone. What I care about is I care about them being true on their word because when you get the game you realize nothing's changed. So like there were no new animations. There was no like
Like 3 generations. I don't know, but like the quality
the
wasn't
models weren't
improving.
new. They were just ported
Yeah,
over.
yeah, it's everything. Yeah, they didn't deliver and they cut Pokemon, so it's like there was really no winning there. They had to, and they didn't. So that's just what it is.
On yeah. And then yeah, like and if we were just to continue the DLC route, I think it'd be if we were to continue this cuz you know, they don't want to spend an entire I don't know, whatever on a new game even though I don't know. But like it would be better if it's like, "Oh, there are some Pokemon if they were just up front and it was just like, "Oh yeah, we just have to hide these behind like we just want the DLC to be more worth it." I feel like I'd be less mad than oh we just cut Mons because we need to redo everything and they lied and they didn't. So that's just me. Going back to hard like you just mentioned you want the game to be harder or like a harder difficulty when you were talking about it. Jack, I agree. Um why did they ever remove challenge mode in from White 2? I will never understand. Like that should have been they
They,
should
even
Because
then,
those games didn't sell well.
you know
even then, you had to beat the game to unlock it. It's like, bro, most people are only gonna play a game once. It's a moot to put it at the like after you've already beaten the game. Even the people who would be interested probably wouldn't even do it because they're like, I already beat it. It's like,
yup
why not put it there at the beginning? It doesn't make sense.
yup
But I don't know.
there
It's
sh-
like it's not like kids are gonna see a hard mode like the option and be like, well, I can't play this game. Obviously, it's like, no, what are you talking about?
what
But
yeah
yeah.
yeah like what it
Yeah.
should be is at the beginning you should be asked hey like you know how most games do it it's like select your difficulty there should be this is for newcomers and it's what Pokemon has been and this is for more experienced people which is like the challenge mode like AI bosses such as gym leaders, E4, evil boss and admins and champion maybe even your rivals to an extent, maybe not at the like when you start out, like maybe they're just as incompetent as you are, but like once it gets to like the second or third battle, they start being more difficult. Um like those should actually be like, oh, I'm kind of struggling a bit. Like I actually need to prepare instead of oh, I could just one shot it with everything that I have on my team. And because of the EXP share, like make the EXP share actually like worth having instead of it's just here to make your lives easier. Just in case you didn't want to grind. And just breeze through the game, which kind of sucks. And then honestly, I'm just going to suggest a third mode. There should be a Nuzlocke type mode. Not call it Nuzlocke because, you know, you're probably going to be too big for that, but there should be a mode where it's like, oh, if your Pokemon faints, they're gone. Like it is that type of situation.
I mean, does there need to be though? Like, it's not like it's an egregious like ask to like for you to do it. Like,
No.
you're already mentally committed. You could just be like, all right, I'll put them in a box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of like. I think it's just part of the culture too. With it, it's like there's really no reason. I don't think anyone's genuinely asking for that. I don't think that's
Because like
necessary.
the people that aren't gonna play it aren't like, well, it's not official.
Yeah.
Like it's just because they don't want to do that. And for the people that do want to do it,
Yeah.
you know, they'll just be like, all right, that's cool that it's a mode, but like, I mean, it's cool, but it's like you don't need to do that. You don't need to put that extra work for something that is just like is not much on the player. Like it'd be one thing if it was like I don't know if it was an action game, and you're like, oh, or like a inverted Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Like you can't invoke that challenge on yourself. Like you can't be like, oh, this playthrough, I'm gonna play it left sided. You know, like the developers had to do that. They have to give you the option. But for Nuzlocking, it's like, oh well, when my Charmander dies, I don't get to use it again. So I'll either click the release button, or if I don't want to do that, I can just put them in a box. That way, I can have all the, you know, all the dead. You know, I can see which Pokemon I've lost along the way.
Yeah. I was just thinking about it like how Fire Emblem does like the permadeath.
Yeah, but like that's its gimmick. Like Pokemon's gimmick is Pokemon.
That's true.
Yeah, like before, permadeath was the only option. Like there was no option. It was just permadeath. That's just how the game was.
Yeah.
So only now you can choose to. You can opt out of it. So it's like it's a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it made it easier. Because the only other option is resetting. So it makes sense why they gave an easier mode. Like the easier difficulty was literally something on the player that was egregious in resetting. Whereas Pokemon, it's the ask of making it harder via Nuzlocke. And it's like there's nothing that the game is doing that is being intrusive to the Nuzlocke being challenging in terms of executing. It's just a matter of, oh, the Pokemon's dead, I'm not going to use it now. Rather, when Fire Emblem is like, I'm going to lose no units this run. And it's like, all right, well, if someone dies at the boss, you got to reset the chapter.
Yo, all it really did was make you redo the entire chapter. Like, I'd argue it didn't, like, it's like twofold. I think it did makes it harder though, because you have to strategize more. Otherwise, you end up spending or losing so much time. But there's also so much RNG in
And
Fire
hell,
Emblem where it's like it doesn't really matter
even
sometimes. You
Fire
can have the
Emblem,
perfect plan.
Fire Emblems even have their own Nuzlocks. They're called Iron Man runs.
Yeah, they call Iron Man runs. I could never, dude. I mean, like, gigs. If you can't reset, I'm like, I'm losing people 100%.
I kind of want to do one day.
It would be hype. It would be hype to try, but
It would be. It definitely would be. Anybody else got anyone else got anything other than I mentioned Megas, we mentioned hard mode and Almon's back. Anyone got anything else?
I'd like the maps to not suck.
That's also
That
one of
too.
mine.
Kyle, you might support me on this because you played through it. So you know how in Pokemon Arceus, instead of EVs and IVs, their effort levels,
Yup.
that should be included
Yup.
instead of EVs and IVs.
Oh
'Cause
my god, I literally
in
sent the
Fire
video
Emblem-
for that.
Yeah, because in Fire Emblem and any other similar games like Fire Emblem, as you go level up, you get actual effort levels into actual stats you might want.
My issue with EVs and IVs is like you have zero control over that. Like
Unless you super research it,
you have
except
Yeah,
for
you,
the ones
you have
that
to
you
super
catch up
research,
on.
you have to hack it in, you have to figure out, okay, this if I kill this mon, it's gonna raise this EV and IV, and then like
well, in modern games, you can just feed them like vitamins and shit, or like whatever. But like, it's just too grindy. Like it's just there's no reason for it to be that difficult. Like it doesn't make sense.
and
All you're doing is wasting your player's time.
there's
Like just let
such
them play.
like there's such a barrier gap between like competitive and like just regular play that it's just like that I never like want to get to into competitive unless it's like okay I could do showdown because showdown I can control that stuff and
Yeah,
in most
because
oh you go
no, you finish, you finish.
because in most RPGs I'm not like I get it like I'm not really talking like it's weird because this isn't like for competitive, but like for most JRPGs, you're able to at least see the stats that are growing, like from each battle, or at least when you level up, or etc. Right? In Pokemon Legends Arceus, you have these things called like grit stuff, and that will raise the effort levels, and you can actually see that stat. And not only is that stat set for the rest of the game, where like oh, you have like this many EV, or it doesn't, or it tells you like you have this many IVs or like whatever. It literally shows you on the screen, hey, these are your effort levels, and you can and you could like feed them like this stuff, and it's like okay, if you feed them this version, you can it raises it up by to like 1, 2, or 3. This one 4, 5, 6. This one 7, 8, and this one 9, 10. And it just works. It's good. And like I can actually see the progress. I could see like why my Pokemon are doing it, or like what's going on with my Pokemon. And you get something, and you get it out of releasing your Pokemon, which is actually really good. Um, because you know before releasing Pokemon made zero sense, but now you actually have a reason to. Neil, what were you gonna say?
I forgot.
Okay.
I totally forgot.
I think there should, even if you don't remove EV and IVs, I think there should be a system where we're A, here are the EVs and IVs.
Oh,
B, it doesn't work like the way it does. You can feed them the stuff, so that way you can raise it to where you want it, and then therefore, and maybe you make it like, I don't know, like I don't know how you would exactly get these items. Like maybe you have like a real battle frontier where like you can buy them, or maybe there's just like I guess you would do it in wild areas, which kind of sucks. But
yeah, because you go. You.
I was just gonna say it would make it more and just don't have it with like defeating Pokemon. Like that's the other ask I would have.
Yeah, I mean, again, EVs, you don't need to defeat Pokemon anymore. As long as you can grind, you know how to grind money.
Yeah.
It's not a, so it's but
No, but isn't it still like if you kill the Pokemon, it still
yeah,
raises that?
so that is still there. It's just that so it's like what people do now is that they just
Don't.
you breed the Pokemon, fill them up with the vitamins, and so then it doesn't really matter anymore.
Mm,
But yeah, but for a normal playthrough, but like then at that point the EVs don't matter. But yeah, you can't control IVs. You can't get eggs are really annoying to get. It's really
yup.
stupid.
So
Because the problem is that the barrier between a expert player and not a novice is basically just how much are you willing to grind, and
yup.
that's not. There's no skill involved there. It's just
No.
how much time are you willing to spend here, and like that's not great. Like it really that really shouldn't be the yeah, like just to get to the starting line. It's not to like experience. It's literally just getting to where you have to be. It's insane. It's way too grindy. Way too
Yup.
grindy. It's weird because it's like they there's no other competitive game in the world that makes you do this.
Yup.
So they definitely need to reevaluate, I think.
True. Um, yeah, like I agree. One other thing also from Legends Arceus, because we've talked about it, Frostbite
Yeah.
over being frozen.
Yeah,
100%.
it's literally better.
Because
In fact,
literally it's just special burn.
and I'm surprised it hasn't been a thing yet. Like,
It is shocking that it's taken them this long to do that.
yeah, because it's like part of the reason why special attackers are so strong in competitive play is because like you don't get affected. They're unaffected by burn. It's just like that nothing happens. Not to say that physical ones are bad, but it's just like a lot of the top tiers are special because it's
Yup.
like you burn, you don't get
Less punish.
nothing to you.
It's
The worst
why.
thing you could do to them is either poison them or sleep them.
Yup.
But
You could do that to anybody, but I mean like specifically burn specifically targets physical, but like there's no equivalent to special, so it's like
And
if,
paralysis targets speed, but there's nothing
yeah.
for special.
Yeah, so it's like the idea. So it's like running a special like is just like special attackers are just safer. It's like if your opponent is running a Will-O-Wisp on a Pokemon, they just have 3 moves now because Will-O-Wisp is completely dead. Like it's like
Yup.
so it's like they really should have. It's a good idea. I hope they implement it. It's a good idea.
I do
Surprised it's
too.
not this wrong, but
I would also like if paralysis was just speed burn instead of you can't move for a turn, because then it's just like waste your turn. But that's
yeah, it
just
does.
me.
Yeah, it's kind of brutal because it halves your speed
Yup.
and then it's also you have a chance of not being able to move. That's probably too much.
Like
Probably
like
too much.
yeah, like I think making it speed burn would make a lot like would just make it so much like better.
Yeah, because then it's less RNG. It's more of like okay, like yeah, my Pokemon is have speed, but I could you can still play like you. But if you get paralyzed, it's like well you're kind of fucked. It's like based on luck. Like if you get lucky, you'll still hit. If you don't, then you don't. It's a
Yup.
competitive game should not have so much RNG baked into it. But yeah, I mean, because they hold tournaments and stuff. It's not like like legit tournaments, like Nintendo like endorsed or whatever, Pokemon Company technically. But
No. But yeah, like it would just make competitive better if you like added all of these things or implemented more of these things and like make them less grindy.
it's
Um
funny that the game that has no competitive PvP at all, like no PvP at all, has more quality of life changes for competitive players. I think it's kind of funny.
which one? Oh, Arceus?
Yeah, like
Yo,
it has no PvP whatsoever.
it's crazy. It's crazy to think about. It's crazy to think about.
They added all that into Arceus instead of like an actual Pokemon game.
There's so
Fascinating.
there's so much good in Arceus. It's just like sometimes it's just somewhat outweighed by the bad, but we're not talking about Arceus in
Yeah,
this video.
it's not an Arceus review.
Eventually we'll get to that. But where was it? Jack talked about icky routes.
Yup, they suck.
Yup. Cause let's be honest, they're not that good.
But like, dude, the routes in like Gen A are so bad.
They're so
They're so
bad.
tiny and incredibly linear. It's like, holy crap!
I
Like,
you're telling me I gotta go left and I'll go there?
like
Perfect.
some of the areas are just you could only walk straight. Like that's just
Yup.
your only option. Even the DS games had fucking you could go left and right like a little bit to find like items and shit, dude.
Yup.
Like,
Like
holy crap, the
so
routes non-existent.
so this is something I actually had written down, but not really worded similar. I wrote down routes in expansive places like in Arceus, not whatever was in Sword and Shield, because in Sword and Shield, it was just a bit too like linear, like especially routes. I really like the places in Arceus where I could go wherever and I could see like certain things like right now
Yeah,
it's just Pokemon, but in modern games, I'm sorry to cut you off, Neil. That like it would be cool if I could literally just go into this one place and I could find an area or And I could find like an area, like maybe it's like a secret training dojo, and it has like a really hard mini boss, and like I don't know, like a fighting guy. Or I could go like this way, and it might take me a little bit along the path, but I'll find a cool item. Or if I go into this place, I can find a specific Pokemon that like I can't find anywhere else. And and maybe the Pokemon in this specific area are like higher leveled. Not only that, but just like levels in general for wild Pokemon suck. Just in like regular games. Like they're just not good. I don't know how else to put it. Like you literally at the end of the game catch 40s and you're fighting like 70s. Like what if I wanted to use a Victory Roadmon? That's not fun. I don't know, Neil, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, because I was gonna say like the because the way I understand Arceus, it's like because it's not an open world game, but it has like it's just wider areas.
Yeah.
Basically the wild area, but better, essentially.
Mhm.
Which a low bar, but yeah. And so it's like, yeah, and I think something like that definitely works for Pokemon. Like you have to have like, I mean, I think it works. Like I don't think that the route structure is necessarily bad, as long as the like, because JRPGs still do it, and they're fun to go through if you make them right. If you don't have to go this, you don't have to even go this expansive. It's like, but yeah, it's just they
Oh, you go. Finish.
no, I was like Arceus. I think like prove that they like can do it, and like they do relatively understand like what they should be doing. It's just a matter of will they or do they want to. Again, I don't know. I think they do though. I think there's reason to be positive, but we'll see.
I hope so. I completely agree with you 100%. What I really like what I was gonna say was like the routes should not be like wild like as big as wild areas. Obviously, that would just be like a bit too much. But they should be like I don't know for like there should be like I guess like three. I don't know, like three routes is like a wild area. Not like all in a row, but like there's one route and then you get to the next town, but it feels like as big as maybe like a third of the wild area or a fourth of the wild area. Is what I mean by that. And by like expansive places, I mean like caves being like bigger and more expansive. And feel like I guess like that stuff. Cities. I really just meant cities. I would really just like a big city just to see it. Like how I'm sure Saffron was originally imagined. Or like instead of having two houses in the starting town, I would really like it to be an actual town. I would like a town to look like a town and a city to look like a city.
I agree. That makes sense to me.
That's more what I meant by that. And um I feel like there was something else I was going to say on that, but I honestly forgot. It's just like I don't know, you're on a console now, and there are certain things that I feel like are more required than a handheld like because you can store more than a handheld game even though the Switch is a handheld system. That's all. Was there? Uh, anyone else got anything good? Neil, you got a different topic?
I don't think so.
Don't think so.
I don't think I can come up with right now.
Okay. Anybody else got anything before I just rack off my go through my list?
No.
No.
I want them to stop making dog shit ugly Pokemon, seeing that that's their new problem.
Yeah, apparently, apparently.
Oh my god, Decidueye, Hyflosion, and Samurott?
Like, fucking, I used to, when people would be like, oh, like, these Pokemon designs suck, I'd be like, alright, well, that's subjective. Like, they don't, to you, they're not good, but I'm like, man, these are just bad. Like the fan art stuff that you sent me got me so excited because I was like, oh my god, that looks so good.
So you
And I
know
was
what
like,
that was
that's why it's
for?
fan art.
I should
What?
I should mention it. I'll pop it up on screen, or actually I can actually do that while I'm talking about it. But what it's from is a thing called Pokemon. It's a fan art for Pokemon Legends Celebi. It's like a fan made project. If I can find it here, because I took a screenshot and never took it out of my screenshots tab, and I take a lot of screenshots as a student. So here. There. Now everybody can see it. You guys, I posted it in general for like in our Discord. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave these up here because they're really good. Like, imagine that. Like Cherry Blossom. I don't know. Jotoni, old Jotonian, like Torterra.
Yeah, it'd be
That'd
pretty
be sick.
positive.
The Blaziken looks good, and Greninja's how you do a Ronin. Like, I'm sorry. Like, Decidueye just does not look... Like, because you use its feathers, it doesn't look good. Like, not only that, but the hat covers its head so much.
Decidueye looks cool for a Pokemon that wouldn't be Decidueye.
Yeah.
You're right.
Like if they did to something else, be like, oh, dope.
And people like Samurott, but literally people like Samurott because Samurott wasn't changed at all. They
It's
literally were just
reskin.
like, here's a different color for you. And now you're smaller, I guess. I don't know. You call me angry and jaded, but this should be the standard. Like, there's very good fan art, and it's just, like, crazy that, like, they decided, hey, we're not gonna do Flygon, Mega Flygon, because
I can't make a design.
because we can't make a design better than the fan art. That sickened me to my core when I heard that. But whatever. Like,
But what they said was they just couldn't come up with a design they liked, which is almost worse.
Yup.
Because that just means they just don't like anything about Flygon. Like, there's no part of them that they were like, yeah, this is cool enough to flourish.
Well, I think there was no one on the staff who could draw anything that they were happy with, I guess, apparently. I don't know.
Nope.
God damn it. I don't actually have this one. I have something kind of similar. But I completely agree with you. I have stuff written down for Arceus. And one of the things I have without really going into detail is I don't have anything like the only ones that I have that were good were Zora and Zoroark. Out of 20. Maybe even
Yup.
more.
Literally it.
I can't.
That's
I
your
can't.
Pokemon.
It's and like even some of the that's not fair. I mean, there are some of the Gen 8 ones that are good, like the new forms and whatnot. Some are unmemorable. Because
I
I was gonna
legit
go,
think this is the first Pokemon game that has bad Pokemon designs.
what, Sword and Shield?
No, Arceus.
I
I
mean,
think the
just
Sword and Shield ones are fine.
downright ugly. It's like, oh my god.
It's funny because like they were not trying.
And it's like, I don't even get, like, what's the theme here? Like, right? Like, you go look at, like, some new Pokemon, you're like, oh, I get it. It's like a beach type theme. Like, there's no, I don't see any kind of, like,
The theme is no theme.
Yup.
It's just
Yeah, I
whatever
don't-
we have.
Like the thing is, I
Consistency
get
in
that.
design.
Oh, I'm sorry. You go.
No. I was just saying, like, I don't see any consistency in their design choices with these Pokemon. Like, they don't even look like they belong. Like, nothing about them says Sinnoh to me. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I agree. I think they were. I can't defend it. At least the starters, I know they were trying to do old, like, Japan thing, but, like, I didn't even get that from it.
Yeah, like, I'm talking about, like, yeah, sure, maybe the starters, but, like, I'm talking about all
Everyone
the
else,
Pokemon.
no.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
I would say I would argue that for Sword and Shield. I think there are some ugly designs in Sword and Shield as well. Like especially the starters.
Their final evolutions, their first forms are all really good. I think.
I don't like
But-
Score Bunny.
Second,
I like
Score Bunny's
Raboot. I
adorable.
don't like Score Bunny.
the second
That's
ones are
bad.
tight.
I love the second one's good too. I honestly, but the final one, Cinderace, I don't like Cinderace very much.
Like the Blaziken that I showed, that's what Cinderace's typing should have been. Fire electric. But they decided no, let's go into the fact that it's a soccer player and uses its legs, and oh my god, we're gonna make another fighting type and the fans are gonna be mad at us again. And it's just like,
Let's go.
oh my god, it's like literally every single fire type, they can't get away from it. It's just like literally the problem would have been solved if you decided, hey, Emboar is either going to be pure or it's going to be like ground or something or dark. Solved. If it wasn't a firefighting, nobody would have thought about firefighting starters. No one. And Incineroar could have been firefighting like it should have been. Crazy to think about, right?
I feel like
Very
it could have
much so.
flopped like Emboar, Fire Dark, and then Incineroar, firefighting.
Yup. But now because you did it 3 times in a row, because you just couldn't help yourselves, the fans are gonna be mad at you. Even if the design is just like it should be firefighting. Like Cinderace should have never been firefighting. It should have been fire electric because speed, soccer, but just a thought. Just, I don't know, when you make new forms for Dialga and Palkia that look like complete ass.
I mean, I see the Centaur reason, but give them arms. That it would have been cool if they gave them arms. They didn't.
So and they didn't have to do anything, man. Like look at Primal, Groudon, and
They could have
Kyogre.
just gave it. They
glow.
They
they
just
could-
exactly. They just glow.
no,
That's
you know
all
what
they
they,
had to do.
But it
you know what they could have done? They could have just gave it the Giratina origin form esque thing, but make it look,
I'm
Good.
like,
I would have just
they
made them
had
look.
it easy out, and they still chose the hard way. And
Yeah.
it's God.
I wouldn't have made them like snakes, like Arceus or like Giratina. I would have made them like something that like makes a bit more sense. Like
space. They could have done Palkia as a whale, maybe,
that would have been
and
hype.
What?
and then Dialga, what a space whale.
Yeah. What are you talking, dude? That
I was
wait,
thinking
wait,
when
wait,
he
wait,
mentioned
wait.
that, I immediately went to the
Wait,
one
wait.
from Link's Awakening.
All right, man. I get it.
That's not Palkia though.
That's true.
I got. Like,
I
it's
don't
like a
know
completely
what
different
like
Pokemon.
what animals would you have would I have
What-
done? I probably would have
No.
done a horse more or the
But
more
no, none of
centaur
them
thing.
are.
No, they could have done a
For
Centaur
Dialga.
thing. Yeah,
They're like
I'm with-
legendary.
I'm
They
with
should
Neil on
be
this.
animals.
They're their own things. Like
Yeah.
their whole gimmick should be space and time. Like my personal idea, Palkia is easy. Make the things on its arms bigger and more prominent, and have galaxies in them. Like,
Oh,
Like the thing with Omegas is everyone's getting lost in the sauce about their forms. They're like, oh, primals were so cool. No, they weren't. They glowed. That's what they did.
yeah.
Literally all they do is glow.
Like we
Space.
all need to remember the primal forms, and no one's ever said this. The primal forms suck. There's nothing special about them.
No.
But their forms.
The only
and then
cool thing
Dialga,
was
like
I'm
I don't know.
Mm.
You know what would have been cool if Dialga's little like back flap thing was like more prominent, had symbols on it that you could think is time, and its head could have been the hand of the clock, or it should have went full on the sundial thing. Like it should have had like something jetting out of its little chest piece.
You see, this is why you're the number one Pokemon correspondent.
Why
Yeah,
haven't
'cause,
they hired you yet, dude?
This is
I
why.
turned them down.
You turned. Why? You could have done the
Well, no,
community
because-
service.
Well, no, because they heard about this, and they were like, "Hey, we like your Dialga and Palkia ideas," and then Masato was like, yeah, but I have this vision for Dialga swallowing a pill, and for Palkia to look like a dumb horse. And then I was like, all right, that kind of stinks, but like I'll work my way around it. And then I just saw what the series was becoming, and I was like, you know what, my artistic vision is wasted here.
Yup, true, true. God, I don't know. I don't know.
God, I just like galaxies on. Oh, that would have been so
That would have been
cool.
that would
Right?
have been so cool.
And
Oh God, we didn't get that now. Oh.
and like just make them look ferocious. Like I know that's a very like broad concept, but like this is supposed to be them as they were like closer to when they were born. Like make them almost like unformed. Like make part of them just glow. Like have Palkia look like it's like only barely containing this like galaxy shit into its little orbs.
Oh,
And have
yes.
Dialga and dude, like have Dialga just like I don't know, just like have its back thing spin around. Like have it do that. Like you can take away like two of their legs. Like you can do this whole like their bodies are not the same, but like it's too complex. Like it's almost as if they were better versions of themselves in the past that have de-evolved. Like it should just be that they are just different. Like they have just become, you know, they've gained a physical form. Like I don't know, it's hard to manifest time in a Pokemon, but like I'm sure you can do something with Dialga.
You know
Or
what would have
you're-
been
You could do like when he's like the parts of him are glowing, like you could have like little like Roman numerals in them or something.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like they like have that be the reason why clocks look like the way they do. Be like, yeah, Dialga used to have these symbols on it, and
Yeah.
those symbols were the first way we told time.
Yup,
That
that
would
would have
be-
been
You know, even
sick.
cooler is just have Dialga's orb things be a clock,
That
and
would've been
have
sick.
him. How cool would it be when he uses Roar of Time? Like wherever the hands are, like just have them constantly moving, and when he does it, have them all jut up to 12-12, and then it's like oh, it's like almost like they're his veins shooting energy up through his neck out of his mouth.
That's sick.
And they could be like, oh, that's why high noon is a concept. Because
That's so
the literal
sick.
god of time, his own biological clock would say 12 o'clock whenever he released his deadly attack.
That's so sick.
Would have been so cool.
I
Yeah.
I would have liked something with like hourglasses. Maybe it would have been like cool, like one of those symbols was an
Yeah, there you
hourglass.
go.
Or like on its arm, like or on its like legs, there were like things for arrow glasses. Like maybe there was like something ticking down, and then maybe for Roar of Time they like immediately go down or they go down. Like also with like the clock thing, like high noon, like maybe it's like time's up.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's I don't know. It's even with the other Pokemon, like Goodra shouldn't have just had like a fucking thick ass. Like it should have had rock all over its body. Like the
Yeah.
whole point is supposed to be this gooey thing that is protected by a shell. Fucking
Yup.
Sneasel looks like a Muppet. I don't know what their concept with that was. It looks like a
Correction,
Muppet.
Sneasel looks like a Sonic character.
Blaze.
Yeah, it does.
Looks like Blaze.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Blaze the cat. Fucking what
Yeah.
else? Voltorb and Electrode are good, but that's literally just what if Voltorb was made of wood. And then
That's actually the dumbest thing that I've ever seen, because it should have never been that way. Because how do they know what Pokeballs look like? Like that might have been the dumbest thing, because we're supposed to have the first Pokeballs, and Electro and like Voltorb and Electrode are supposed to be based off of Pokeballs. What are they based off now? Older Pokeballs. It makes no sense.
Yes.
I mean, you could just in lore be like, oh, Pokeballs are designed off of them.
So
True.
due to the
They
times
do
we
that.
changed how it looked.
But they
True.
Yes, and
As they evolve.
obviously it's still a retcon, but just be like, oh well, fucking people just forgot. You know, people just forgot that Pokeballs are based off of them. You know, it has been thousands of years.
You know, I think we should not go into Legends Arceus anymore. We should talk about what the topic is talked about. I'm gonna lean us back a bit.
Pokemon should be better.
Pokemon should be
Yeah,
better.
but it is the newest thing from Pokemon, so it is a good through line.
You know,
You know what is annoying though? Like what annoys me is that like Sinnoh is one of the most like
loved
as
generations, yeah.
It has one of the most diverse biomes in like all of Pokemon. Like you got snow, beaches, grass. Like you got marshes. You got like all this stuff, and it's like none of the Pokemon, all like except there are a few, but most of them are just like, yeah, we just made some random like. There's no theme. You know what I'm saying? Like Weavile isn't some kind of new like, Snow Point version or something. It's just like, yeah, he's here now. I guess he's different. I don't
Wait,
know.
who?
Weavile.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh,
you don't.
Weavile's there. Wait, it's weird that
Yeah,
like
Weavile's
not
there,
even
but regular
Sneasel, like the
Sneasel.
new Sneasel and and like its evolution, they're not
Yeah, that's not
even
yet.
ice type.
Yeah, like that's what I'm like. I mean, like you know what I mean. Like I don't know. Like there's so much there with Sinnoh because there's so like you have so much stuff here. Like and
You
like
know
they
what they
didn't
could have
use any of it. I don't get it.
The some like
you know what they could have done for a Hisuian Sneasel instead of just poison fighting, like dark fighting or ice fighting,
I would have done
like
ice
anything.
poison.
Or yeah, but ice poison doesn't get anything like to protect themselves. Giving it fighting type, but giving it what Scrafty has, I think is a little better.
Yeah, I just think keeping it ice type because you literally get it in a cold place makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Um,
it's like they treated the Pokemon like they treated like Gen 1s when they brought them over to Gen 7, like the lowland forms.
yup.
But like, this isn't the same because it's like this Hisui is Sinnoh. Like we know this. This was in the marketing. We know this. You've said this a billion times. That's
Yeah.
part of the reason why people are so hyped for it. So it's like, why aren't you taking advantage of that? I don't know. It just didn't seem like
It's
it
just like
could be much cooler. I
one
don't know.
of one of my things like about the environment more or less is I don't like the fact that they did the volcano place with the beach. I would have appreciated like if the volcano was in its own area and like we had
Oh
like
right, Dark Mountain and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Um
Stark Mountain's like omega far from Tawny Shore. It's like across a lot of water
yeah.
and
That
land.
that would have been
In
cool
fact.
if it was a sixth area or like it was
Yeah.
an extra area where like oh here like we've just found this extra area that you can go to now. I don't know. Just like in the originals, it would have been a cool callback, but whatever. Um. Okay, we need to stop talking about Arceus. We need to start talking about Gen 9. What we want for Gen 9. Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Um. Something I want. I guess going off of Pokemon, just to like go into it. I would like what they did in Sinnoh because like they had like when they had like Electivire, Magmortar, um, Frostlass, Magnezone, Gallade. I would have really liked. I would like new evolutions to Mons that aren't just because they have new forms. I like regional variants. I think they're really good, but I don't think they need to be the reason as to why everything gets a new evolution. Um, I guess it's just a personal one of mine because I think it makes
Yeah.
complete sense that both happen. I think that like sometimes Mons aren't going like how Pokemon is. Sometimes Mons are going to go to a new region and just evolve into a new Pokemon and not change its form. But there are other times where it does have to become a new kind of Mon. Like they explained I think it was Rattata when they were talking about Rattatas. Cause like young like the Mongoose Mon had to like they had to like become a different Mon in order to survive, right? Like that just makes sense. And like and if it goes into a new evolution, cool. Like how we have Obstagoon, even though it kinda looks bad. But but it also makes sense for Pokemon to be like Electivire and Magmortar or the Evolutions or Weirdeer or Ursaluna or like whatever. I'm just naming Pokemon. They don't look like even if the ones don't look good, I'm just naming examples. Just Have both is what I mean by that. That's all. Your guys' opinion on that? Something?
I'd rather them just make new Pokemon.
Yeah. Like, I
Yeah.
also want new Pokemon. It's just that if we have to have stuff, that's how I would like it. I don't know. Because I don't know, I liked how in Sinnoh we got, like, all of these new evolutions to Mons. I just thought it was cool.
It's cool. Forms are alright. I think they're neat, but I'm like, I don't know. Like,
They gotta be
they're cool. They got to be cool. They're hit or miss because it's like
You know?
you'd be like, oh, I turned this fire type, or a good example. Like, let me think of like what's a big like type change like like
Vulpix?
Yeah, I was
yeah
thinking
like yeah like they're like, oh, it's an ice type now, and it's like, all right, what kind of attacker is it? It's like, oh, it's Vulpix special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, but like, couldn't you just made another Pokemon? It's like, oh, we ran out of ideas, and it's like, all right, well, Ice Vulpix is cool looking. It's like, what else? It's like, oh, we turned Dugtrio into part Steel type, and it's like, oh, cool, what's the design? It's like, oh, it has hair.
That one's
It's like, all right,
weird. That one's cringe.
it's like, all right, that's pretty lame. It's like, you couldn't think of something else, and it's like, nope. And it's like, all right, well, that's a blatant lie because you made another game with almost 100 different Pokemon. Like, I'm sure you could have come up with something.
You know?
But it's just it's a commercial. It's to sell Gen 1 to you again in a different way.
You know?
That's what Megas are. It's just a way to sell Gen 1 to you again.
But they
Hey,
do
look,
it
guys,
with Gen
Charizard does
3
something new.
But they still have like it for other generations.
One
Yeah,
other
I know, but that only proves the point even more. It's just they're better at it. They're better at selling you the entirety of the series.
It should
nothing's
be
wrong with that.
more like I think it
Yeah,
should be like more like spaced out, but and not just Gen 1. Like a Gigantamax forms were literally the new generation, the first generation, and somehow, some way, also Garbodor.
Yeah.
I
God.
mean, it should be more spread out, but they should also put more effort into their games and put all the Pokemon in their games, but they don't, so they don't.
No. I would also like another evolution.
That would be nice.
And not just like, oh, we introduced a new type, so therefore Eevee has to have this. No. Like, there should be like a dragon type evolution. There should be a rock type evolution, a ground type evolution. Like, it would be so cool to just have them because Eevee should just be like, I don't know. It's just like, Eevee's supposed to be like the evolution Pokemon. It's like supposed to have like all the typings. It'd be cool. I don't know. I might just be weird. But, I'm just expressing my opinion on it. I would just like more evolutions. That's all. Like, we don't have to have like one every generation, but like, one every couple would be nice.
It would be very pog.
Two every like 3 generations would be cool. I don't know.
Gen 6 was the last one in like 2013 or something.
And it was
right?
because they introduced a new type.
Yes.
Yep. And speaking of new types, I will advocate for this. I would like a sound and a space type. We don't need them, and I won't be like mad if we ever get them, but I just think they're cool ideas just to have like a sound type and like a space type.
It would be cool because then we could also have 20 types.
Yup. And then it'd
Even.
be even, and they both make sense. Instead of like, oh, what are we gonna add a light type? Well, we already had fairy types, and electric types do the other half of what a light type would be. So, I don't know. I think like space is just why Palkia is a water type. I'll never understand. It should just be a space type. It would be so cool.
One day.
Even though you could argue Dialga with Steel type, but I'll digress. And then like also because you have like so many mons from space like Deoxys, Beahim, Clefairy, other mons that I can't think of. But like also with sound type, like you have like mons that incorporate sound within their whole entire moveset, like Noivern, Exploud, Wigglytuff, I lose train of thought sometimes. Meloetta! Like mons that like are like, you know, like based off of like singing or sound or music or just other stuff. Like Boomburst not being a sound type is crazy.
One day.
One
One day.
one day when they run out of ideas.
So now,
Well, speaking of ideas, I'm gonna go into a little bit of a segue here. I don't want a weird gimmick. I don't. I don't want a new gimmick. I hate you literally had it right with Megas. And then they decide super move. And then they decide large megas with super move. For
for 3 turns.
For 3 turns.
You know,
And my issue with it, and I wrote this down. I was trying to think of why I don't want this. Like why I don't want like more new gimmicks, because eventually it might not be this one, it might not be the next one, but it's probably gonna be this one, because I can't think of another gimmick unless you're gonna do this is a super move that also turns your Pokemon into like a new form. I don't know. I don't really care. But eventually you're gonna get to fusing with your Pokemon. You specifically, the trainer. Like Ash Greninja, but actually you as Ash Greninja. And it is going to be some weird furry bait. And like, because I thought about this earlier today, and I was like, this is why I don't want it. Because I don't want Pokemon that, I don't want, like, the furries to win. They already have that with Sonic and some Pokemon forms. Oh!
yeah, can
I don't have anything else to add about that. I just don't want a new gimmick. Just make Pokemon fun. You don't need a gimmick to do it. I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, I'm also really proud of myself. I did that whole rant without cursing. That whole 2 minutes.
it would have been even funnier if you had cursed right there, though.
Yeah. I'd have really bought
I'm
the
not
whole thing
adding a
together.
tally right now. I'm too angry. Although
I'm
that's
too
the
angry
reason
to
why I
swear.
should. What are your guys' thoughts? Like we've talked about it.
You're not wrong.
I don't know. It's hard to put into words what I want from Pokemon. I want Diamond and I want Platinum.
I don't know.
That's what I want.
I
The
want Platinum, too.
Pokemon games
Yeah,
I like.
true.
The Pokemon games I want already exist.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, because I don't know. I feel like we're going to be entering Fusion at some point, so I think one generation we'll just
I don't
have
know,
fusing
the only-
Pokemon with Pokemon, and then one generation we're just going to have fusing with it. I don't know.
I don't know about all that, but
They did have a fusing manga, and I don't think it did successful enough.
No.
And remember Game Freak, if it doesn't move units, the idea was clearly the problem.
yup.
So, with X and Y, they're like, all right, it didn't sell enough that the series quadrillioned its sales. We're gonna drop Megas wholesale by Gen 7.
Yo, that's crazy.
So so you are safe, my friend,
Oh, God.
from fusions.
Although something that was really cool fusion wise, and because of the story reason, is the Articuno Zapdos Moltres one.
Zap Molekuno.
Yup.
No, oh my god, that's hype.
Only because of the way it was written in the story was it cool. No other reason.
It was pretty cool. Freaking.
Talked about that. Talked about that. Talked about that. Talked about that.
You know what? You know what I want? I want them to not do Legends Arceus again.
Talked about
I
that.
don't like the.
If they do, make it good.
I just don't like the way the game plays.
About
I
that.
don't like the gameplay loop of it.
Yeah, it's all right. Not the best.
That's fair. I don't know. I guess I'm just a sucker for open areas. So I liked the concept. I just don't like the execution. I just I if they do it again, I would rather it have like, you know, like good looking things instead of what we got. Like let's see. I guess we'll go into that. I'd like a better looking game. I think ever since they switched to 3D, Pokemon has looked ugly. I don't know how you would change that. Because I don't know if it's graphics at this point. I really don't. Because I just think it needs to A, stop looking like a 3DS game. And B, be textured better. Because the textures that you used in Legends Arceus look terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough. They're never gonna not look like 3DS models. That's just not an option.
That's true.
They,
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
I know it's gonna sound messed up, but it's your only option is really to just make peace with it, or just not. You know, that's the two options we've been left with.
I'm not gonna make peace
'Cause
with it.
it's-
I don't want to
yeah.
say just angry, disgruntled fan, and I think that's okay.
That's fair.
Because I mean, like the sprites, like you can make sprites look better and better and better and better, but for 3D models, it's like the only way they look better is if they're the best version of what they can be right now.
No.
You know, like a sprite is timeless. A model ages.
Yup. I mean, just look at Mario 64.
There you
Okay,
go.
but that's like mega old. I mean, you could look at stuff from like the GameCube, and the stuff still looks good. Like Twilight Princess still looks good. Like
You're right.
Wind Waker still looks good. It's like
You're right.
But yeah, but like I think they
Andy.
look good. Like they look good, but like I think Wind Waker looks way better than Twilight Princess. Like if we're going because like just by like power and like how much you like. To me, like it's like if you're looking at a game and being like, oh, does this game's looks date it? Like Wind Waker, it's gonna take forever for someone to be like, this game looks omega cringe old. But for Twilight Princess, it's gonna take significantly less time because that's just how it is.
You're right.
You know, like Call of Duty from 10 years ago looks like crap compared to the one today.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. You know, that's just the nature of it. But like, you know, like you brought up Sunshine. Like Sunshine looks really good because it's something the GameCube, it was running, you know, it was something that was running very powerfully on the GameCube. And its art style. Art style really helps. So like, that's why to me, Pokemon doesn't need to look as good as it possibly can. It's like the Pokemon just need to look good.
yeah, I think the game just needs a better unified art style. Like the problem is that like
Me
the
too.
characters might be stylized, but the backgrounds are not. So it ends up like when you compare it to something like Breath of the Wild, the reason why the whole world meshes so well is because everything has a unified style, like the trees, the grass, like everything.
Like
The
All
enemies.
painted in
Like
that same
Pokemon-
pseudo like
Yeah. Whereas Pokemon, it's like the Pokemon and the people, yeah, but the environment, absolutely not.
I would say
So-
like, yeah, like I would say like, it's a huge problem in Arceus. Like, and I would honestly say like, like the Pokemon's kind of one style, the people are kind of one style, and then like the town, like the environment's like one style, and it just does not look good. It's
Like,
less
the environments look so generic. They're all
Yeah.
like generic grass fields and like it's all like yeah, it's like super generic.
But I feel like that's just been Pokemon since it's been on the Switch.
I don't think so. I think Gen 8's areas like their town and stuff like they look like Pokemon towns. Like they feel like that it feels right. But like Arceus, dude, like the areas you run around in are so like blah. Like there's still it's just you know what I mean. Like there's just, generic grass area, generic snow area. Like there's nothing going on. Like there's nothing interesting to look at.
Yeah, I don't know that. Like for me, like dude, I thought Gen 8's towns were really boring. I thought there was
I
nothing to them.
agree. I just think
I
they
think
look
there's-
boring.
They were
I think there's
meh.
not much in them, but like what I'm saying is like just like the way that they're like quote unquote drawn, like you can it feels like it's still like you're in Pokemon. Like I don't think that they're great towns, but I mean like it still looks like Pokemon. But you look at like areas in Arceus and it's like this isn't this I don't know what this is. This is just it could be in any game. You could take that fucking grass area and put it in any generic like random Switch open world semi open world game and be like, oh yeah, this works. You know, that's what I'm saying.
Every clip of Legends Arceus looks like a YouTube montage from Unseen 64 showing data
Yeah.
like a beta of the game.
You know,
Yup.
I don't know. I don't know. Like for me, like it's just like for me, I agree with you. Jenny's look like I guess Pokemon towns. I wouldn't say they feel like them. I would say like
I don't think they're good.
they just
but-
feel less like I don't know.
They feel unfinished.
I don't know. There's just I feel like I don't know how to put it. It's just like I feel like if it had the expansiveness of what Arceus had, and the not meaning like again we were over the route thing, and like I guess like the look, not I guess not the look because not like graphics wise, but like
I feel.
the presentation we'll go with of like Sword and Shield, but like better. I feel like it'd
And
be
to be fair, I don't even
it
think
might be
like
solid.
3D wise, I think like Gen 7 is probably the best. You could maybe argue Gen 6,
I
probably,
think
but like
it's probably Gen 7, but that's just
Well,
yeah,
because
but
like I don't know, it's I want it to feel like a console game.
like those games look way better than the two aforementioned games, like artistically, but
I guess that's what I mean by that. Like even some like
The only problem with
3DS
them is story. Honestly, besides that, it's pretty much a lot better than the Switches.
like
yeah, but
like I don't know how to put it in words. I guess it's like
Hmm.
I want it to feel like a console game and graduate. Like I feel like most games that have been on like from like that were just like handhelds have kind of evolved like since then. Like Dragon Quest, which was kind of just portable for a while, I think.
I mean, no, but it started out as a console
did.
game. I
It
mean,
did, but
did.
like what was it? Like it had like a
It had
slew
portable
of them
entry.
that were
Yeah,
right? Well, I'm going to talk about
Yeah,
Metroid
it-
as well, right? But like it came back and it was like this feels like a full game, like Metroid, right? Like every part of Dread feels like this was the evolution to console. Compared to like what was like super like Fusion or like not to say they're bad games, but to say like this feels like it belongs here. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I want Pokemon to feel like it belongs because Sword and Shield felt like a 3DS game. Legends Arceus feels like a GameCube game. BDSP I don't even know what to say about BDSP that we haven't said. Like I don't know. It feels like I don't know. It does feel like it is actually a Switch game in the weirdest way. If that makes sense. I don't know. It just feels like Pokemon is still on the 3DS and that's my problem. With I guess like not only like looks wise but just everything. It just feels like every part of them are still just like not using the hardware to its capabilities. And that sucks because Pokemon is the best-selling franchise. That's just what I mean.
Yeah,
That's just what I mean by
yeah,
that.
and that's the reason why they'll never have to, and it's never going to happen.
Because Pokemon sells.
You know, it sells as is. Why put in more work for less return?
That's really what it comes down to at the end of the day.
Let's see.
It's sad to say is if you want Pokemon to be better, it has to do worse.
Yeah, and that's just not a reality.
There's two things. One, it has to do worse. Two, Game Freak doesn't. It needs to not have Game Freak behind it, and also not like either that or give everybody more time. Like instead of 1 year to develop something, give them 3 years.
Or
So I
even
would just
2.
say, well, it's also I think that's the symptom of the plague being Game Freak has to make the thing that sparks the next wave of merchandise.
You know.
Because so like that's why it's like you have to make the games because they are what are the prerequisite for all the other merchandise,
You know.
and also they already sell well. So why are you going to push back the sales of all that merchandise and keep it all in a warehouse for longer so you can make the game look better? So a few thousand more people will buy it when you're just going to make all that money back now anyway because you want to see that money now. You want to see that yearly report. Like now, like you can't have a bad quarter.
You know, it's just crazy to me that like Pokemon is now in the same building, and what we have gotten since then were, well, I guess right now all we've gotten was Legends Arceus because technically it happened in 2020.
Plus, you have to remember, I mean, Nintendo only owns a third of Pokemon Company. So it's not like they have a dominant control
that
over
really has
decisions.
control.
No,
Yeah,
but
they
they
can't-
can help.
Yeah, but like if it's not like it doesn't like I said, it's not a people issue. It's not about having more people, it's more time.
Behind
You
it.
could throw a million fucking people on it, but it's still not gonna happen because the more people you have, the more people that you have to then like direct, and that makes the whole process slower too. So it's like it's just throwing people at it. It doesn't just solve the problem. It's just not gonna happen. That's like it'll help, but it's certainly not gonna solve the problem. And they need to figure out. I mean, just set straight up. They need to from the get go be like, we're delaying these things. We're delaying the game. Like they just have to know. Like before they even go into development, they're gonna be like, this game is not coming out in a year. It's not gonna happen. There's no chance.
No.
And then hope with that, then they can push it. But it's tough because if investors are like, oh, they expect profit at this time, and they're like, and you don't what good reason could you possibly give them to be like, hey, trust me, it's for the better. It's like, no, what are you talking about? You're gonna make all this fucking money if you just do it now. Why are you doing this? That's stupid. And it's
I honestly think the comparison is let's see how COD does when it stops being yearly.
It's not though. Like I don't think that's like even remotely like Pokemon is just its own breed of whatever it is. It's just in its own league somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Pokemon doesn't. I mean, can you even say it really comes out yearly? Like, yeah, sure, they release a game every year, but it's like.
Well, when you have the same team working on it yearly.
I mean, yeah, but.
So therefore, it like Ilka was a test of waters, right? Like they made BDSP so that way Pokemon didn't have to, right? That was a test of the waters. I would prefer if they did that more often because it would allow for them not to make not to make like it would allow them to space out everything while also having the marketing, right? However, Ilka might have not been the best studio. Just to put it in terms, because that was like literally the first game they developed on their own. So, maybe give it to a more experienced team. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but why though? It's gonna sell anyway. Give it to the less experienced team. They'll make your game cheap.
Yeah.
Because they want to be the people who make Pokemon. They want to make the popular Pokemon game.
Yeah.
They want to be known for that, and then if it sucks, Game Freak can be like, oh well, I guess we just won't let them do it next time.
You want those fatter margins, dude.
Yeah.
Yo, money, money, money,
Quicker,
money.
make it cheaper, and then you make even more money. You
Yeah.
save time and money, literally. It's like
It's crazy.
pretty good deal. Pretty good deal.
Money, 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 money.
No. I would like a focus less on. I would like less of a focus on Gen 1, because BDSP and Legends Arceus came out. They sold great, showed you didn't need it. You don't need nostalgia
Yeah.
pops anymore. Or, well, you don't need Gen 1 nostalgia pops anymore. You could literally just pull from any
Yeah.
generation, be fine.
Exactly. I agree wholeheartedly. Gen 1 is not the only one. Like, I know it sold very well, and I understand that you got to do a little bit of it, but, like, give the others some love, too.
Yup. Yup. I would like also something Legends Arceus proved. You don't need you don't need two copies anymore. You don't need to make two versions of the game. I get that it sells something, but like Pokemon Legends Arceus, 3 days in, this is the same timeline that they give every single one, sold more copies than BDSP when it came out, Sword and Shield when it came out, Let's Go when it came out. Let's Go is not as a bad comparison, but it's had like one of like it's had like the most sales in a week, at
Yeah,
least
like,
on the
I like
Switch.
the idea. Like, I like the idea of, like, picking something in your playthrough will, like, determine, like, the legendaries you can get. Like, I like that idea because it incentivizes multiple playthroughs. It also incentivizes still trading. Because, like, I get the whole point of two versions is one, money, and two, trading. That's, like, one of the best ways to drive your player base to do it. But it's, like, I don't know, just, like,
Make it simple.
yeah, it's also, like, you could just trade because, like, hey, I have this Pokemon. Do you want it?
You know,
And
pretty
also,
much,
like,
yeah.
even then, you can even forego the whole trading is important to us because it's not like it is. There's a reason they don't put gotta catch 'em all on the front of the boxes anymore. That's not
Yeah.
important to them anymore.
Like literally, that was like the premise of Arceus, but they've been really drifting away from that.
Also, like you can't actually catch them all, like, cause no game has like catchable mons. Like games don't have like you can transfer the Pokemon from the old generation, but you can't
Yeah.
literally catch
Yep.
them all
The
anymore.
last
You
time
have
you
to go
could
to
catch them
like
all
Gen
was
3.
Yep, the last one you could catch them all was Gen 1.
Yeah,
I
literally.
thought it was Gen
Yeah, because
2.
Can you catch them all in Gen 2?
I think so,
I
because
think
basically it's
so.
like Gen 1 2.0, like because it added Kanto as well. I think you
Yeah, because
can.
you can go back to Kanto. Yeah.
Gen 3
True.
really started it because they didn't add like a lot of like they kind of like had all of their own, and then they also incorporated a bit of the same.
And they also had Coliseum in order to get Gen 2 Mons.
Yup.
Because it was
Yep.
like because it was a new change of hardware, and then they changed it again, and then again, and
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's just yeah. I just want one like it's just proved you don't need two games. And not only that, like for trading, for example, they literally created an item in Legends Arceus. And I think it's probably going to be prominent because I can't see the linking cord being like, because it's basically the linking cord is you can evolve trade mons that are just
Yep,
tradable.
the Trade Stone.
Yes, the trade stone. And then like they did the same thing with like held items, like when you trade, like you just give it to them on. And I'm just like, okay, well if it works back in the day, why does it not work in like now? Crazy to think
I
about.
mean, that stuff never bothers me. That's just a mechanic. I'm gonna use a big word here, ludonarrative dissonance.
Ludo
Was
narrative dissidence. Please
what
please
does that mean?
explain that for people who don't understand that.
The
That would
gameplay
be
is
me.
telling you
That
a
would
different.
also be me.
It is the gameplay is telling you something different than what the story is.
Yeah.
That's what that
yeah.
means.
A classic example is like when you beat a boss in battle, but then you lose in the cutscene.
Ah.
Yep, yep, exactly. So in one game being like, oh, you have to trade them to evolve. It's like, why? It's like, well, there's no in-lore reason. That's just a mechanic.
Yeah.
The mechanic came first, and then there was no story reason. We just decided that the mechanic is the story reason.
Yeah. I I don't know, like now we have an item. We literally now have the trade stone. I think we're reaching a point where maybe it would just be nice to like not have multiple games and just have the one and like again, I guarantee you there were less people that bought 2 copies of Legends Arceus than bought both both things of Sword and Shield, and it still sold better. In at least in the first 3 days. So there's your proof. Maybe long term, maybe it's less good. I don't know, but who knows? Um. Oh, I want an actual rival.
Yeah, let's bring that back.
Let's.
The last actual rival was either Gary or Silver.
I agree. I like
Uh,
Barry.
Barry's cool.
He's I.
But
yeah, I
I
like
mean,
Barry.
I think it's fine if like I don't know. I think it's good to have a rival like that's your friend, and they can maybe have the weaker mon than you. But I think it's also good to have cocky, um, uh, ass of a person rival, or just someone who's mean like Silver. Like I think it's also good to have that rival.
I wish there was a Paul rival in the games.
Yeah, like Silver.
Yeah.
And
Like,
like
I don't know. To me, like, I think what they don't do anymore is they don't give your rival any antagonistic trait, and that doesn't mean they have to be evil or a prick. Like Barry has antagonistic traits, but he's not evil and he's not even mean. But what he is cocky. He is sure of himself. He is always confident that he is better than you, and that enough gives you the motivation to want to beat him. Silver is a fucking criminal, and that gives you the motivation to want to beat him. Gary is a fucking asshole the whole time, and does not seem to bat an eye that you beat him every time. Like to him, it's almost just like, oh, you got lucky.
yeah.
And then with May, it's like, all right, May and Brendan are really weak villains because their motivation is just, oh, they're doing the same thing as me, so by proxy they are rivals. And then Sharon and Bianca, it's like, okay, they're rivals, but it kind of just seems like Bianca's your friend and Sharon and you are rivals because everyone has rivals. And then in X and Y, it's like, all right, you and Serena are rivals because you're both doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And then in Gen 7 and 8, it's like, oh, you guys are rivals because you're friends. And it's like, no, that used to be its own thing. Like, it used to be like the friend is different from the rival.
Yeah, and I thought that that's fine, and I think that's fine. It makes sense that somebody else. There are 3 people because there are 3 starters, and one's your friend that gets the weaker one, and one's your rival because they're, that has like rival traits because and they have the stronger one. I just think it makes sense. I don't
I
know.
think from now on, they should just forever have the rival pick the one that is stronger against you. And they don't even have to be the first fight. Make the one you're strong against the first fight. Confidence booster, but like,
You know,
there's nothing more satisfying than beating your rival, who is typically a late game, sometimes even final boss, beating them when from the minute they became your rival, they had an advantage over you.
you know,
Like, and not a game breaking one. It's not like you have a Pidgey and they have a fucking Giratina. Like, it is just a type. It is one member of their team is always going to beat out the starter you have.
you know,
So it's like you have to think. So it's just cool. It's just cool that you can't for free just be like, I'm gonna just raise up my Blaziken.
and the start, and it's just because it's your starter. You have more of an attachment to it. So them having the stronger one is just like, oh no. So
Exactly.
I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. And they've just been doing it since Gen 7. And it really started in Gen 5 with like the weaker person, but then they just took it out. In Gen 7. So I don't know. That moving into I guess this is just one big thing. I would like a good story. With characters that make sense. Rose. Sorry. Something in my throat.
No, that's good.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. I'm sorry. I had a bit of a rose stuck in my throat. Um, you know, but like I would like a good boss. I would like a reason. Like I thought, like Cyrus was competent enough, right? I thought that like Lysandre.
Lysander.
I thought he was okay. Uh, I don't remember his reasoning. Um,
He thought the world was ugly.
oh,
He's like in the sense of like he just thinks the world sucks.
yeah, that's fine, sure. But like Rose was like, I want to stop something in 1,000 years, so we're gonna deal with it now.
It's especially funny because Leon was like, "No, dude, I'll definitely help you." He got what he wanted, and then he still like did his thing.
It's so funny that Pokemon had a Doomsday cult.
Yeah.
I don't think we need a plot twist villain as well. Like that's like we don't need it. Like it's just been the thing for so long that like who cares? Like I don't know. I liked like the original one, which technically is Gen 5 with N, but you kind of know already in all hindsight. I don't know. Like that one worked because it was like was N. I don't know. I don't know how to word it, but like I don't know, why can't we go back to having thieves like Team Rocket or Colts like Team Aqua, Magma, and Galactic? Plasma even.
I like fighting Colts.
Yeah. Like why can't we go back to just straight up, we know they're evil, we're gonna have to deal with them. Like what I don't see a problem in that. I don't see because we had Team Skull, and then we had the Aether Foundation for whatever reason, and then it was like we have and then we had Team Yell, and then we had
Marnie's fan group.
Rose's thing. I just don't get it. I don't know. I would just like to go back to Colts. If you can't competently tell a backstab story, I just want you to go back to Colts. Because you could tell those a lot better with your feeble minds. And I don't know. I liked that in Gen 5 there was gym leader involvement. I thought that was good. Because they never are involved in anything. Like, in any other game. I thought that was good. The champion being involved is good. I don't know. I just want something competent. But going into that, I would also like something like Dragon Quest XI, because there might be a lot of dialogue, some people might not care. You should have either a skip button, like how it does in Dragon Quest XI, or or moving like faster, like just to fast forward through text, just like how in Trails Kiseki does it. Trails of series, like they have the fast forward like autoplay, right?
Now they just do both. You've like there's auto, there's completely skip, and then there's also like speed up.
Yes, but it should be there.
You've just all the options.
Because RPGs are long games, they're supposed to have a lot of dialogue. And just like,
Pokemon, yeah.
But in
like
Pokemon, all of the dialogue is just gibberish nonsense that just like has not like just doesn't even make a coherent story sometimes. In all of the games, pretty much. I don't know. So sometimes you do want to skip it, especially when you're playing through the game over and over and over and over again. Just like like when you are doing like if you were a Nuzlocker and that's what you do for a living, like because you're a PokeTuber, I'm sure they would love a skip button because then you could just have more content in your videos, like battles and stuff instead of dealing with the text. Or I don't know, like maybe you want to go back to the game but you just want to play the game. A thought. But you know. And a lot of the text drags out because, and this is something I wanted to add, sometimes not necessary, whatever. Like I think for like shorter games, like maybe not, but like when I'm just sitting there and like it just doesn't make sense, and like whatever, and sometimes it like drags out. Like even my favorite like one of my favorite games, Twilight Princess, right? I'll just be sitting through massive things of text that I've already read. And so it's like whatever, like I'm just reading text. At this point it's a book. And I don't know. I'm not a reader. Nick can attest to this. He's also not a reader.
I can barely read.
Yes. So
I think I have the reading level of a second grader, if anything.
also, yeah, and also it helps with like blind I don't know, like it would also make it more accessible. What if there was voice acting? Like maybe not every cutscene should have it, yet, or every single thing of dialogue should have it. Some games do that. I think it might be overkill, but I think in like cutscenes or like important dialogue moments, there should probably be some sort of voice like acting in it, so that way at least I'm not just sitting there like reading things, and like if there's an important cutscene, I can like watch it and then like not have to focus too much on the box. Or like sometimes it's like I don't know, like I really like when a game has voice acting in it. And not only that, like it's Pokemon. You can afford to have voice acting. This isn't like an indie game where like you're not gonna have an unperfect like a non somebody who's not professional. You can pay professional people to do it. You know, like there are smaller companies, Falcom, that does have voice acting in it. Like it would just be nice to, you know, just not have to worry about, or not like to have like constant dialogue just drag. And if it does like because if we really, it doesn't really have to drag, at least I'm listening to them talk. And like it, I don't know, it might give more of a personality instead of, you know, me just reading it over and not giving it any personality to it. It might be just a me problem, but I don't know. It just feels like it's missing. Like when it finally came to Breath of the Wild for Zelda, for like those cutscenes and like the like certain times of text, it just worked and it was great. I don't know. And I don't know. I just think like I would just appreciate it. That's all. Any words, thoughts, opinions?
None at the moment.
Not at the moment. Neil?
No.
No. Nick?
I think he hit all the nails in the coffin.
Yeah. One last thing, because it's just my incompetence from Game Freak that I thought of. I just want the game to not have weird things that like I would expect of a college student, like 2D grass that spins with you, very pathetic. I expect things like how Genshin does their grass, where you move through it, or Horizon. I mean, maybe not Horizon Zero Dawn, because they go for like the really, this has to look luxurious and shit, but like something like Genshin, or I don't know, just things to look weird, like in their no, that's a game thing. I don't know, like Pokemon maybe to not move around and be bland, like they're just walking, or like sleeping. I would like maybe a bit more personality with it. That's all I got. I don't know. Just like some coding things that would actually like make sense. Like there were like even some dialogue bits where I think I saw like an extra S to things. To make it plural when it was weird. Or like certain words were misspelled. Like maybe that's a localization thing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a localization thing. For sure.
I don't know. That's all. I don't know. Like just from seeing like school made games. There are just like certain things that I've just seen that like I just think are just like levels of incompetence from Pokemon that I don't know. I think it's good to hold them accountable. Because they are a 25 they are at least 25 years of developers that should have some sort of level of competence, but sometimes they don't, and it sucks.
Yeah.
But all in all, let's be real. None of these suggestions are gonna make it. Like maybe a couple of them, like maybe the competitive thing, like the frostbite thing, might actually happen. That might be the only thing though.
Maybe the effort levels, maybe, but that's a
Maybe.
stretch.
But that's the only thing. Like I think those things out of everything we talked about, that's the thing. Like it's still gonna look like Sword and Shield 2.4. It's still gonna have the story of Sword and Shield 2. Snore, and hold on, I'm gonna try to think of a third one. And it's gonna be a bad game, just like in its Sword and Shield 2. Core. I did it. And I don't know. That's where I kind of want to leave it off, cause we're gonna talk about it again. We're gonna talk about Generation 9. We got a week. I mean, other than it being a bad game, do you guys have any predictions for it?
No.
Wait, why do we have a week?
Like a week and a half? Pokemon Day?
For what?
They're gonna reveal everything?
Why? What's on? Why are they
Day.
revealing it?
Well, we don't know that for sure. That's just what people think.
More likely than
Yeah.
not. I just wanted to get the video.
Yeah, but don't. Yeah, they also thought Mario Kart 9 was coming out.
True. I mean, there's no guarantee
wait.
Generation 9 gets announced.
That's true. That is true. But
Yeah,
it's
remember,
more. This
trust
isn't
it
like
till it happens.
leakers. This is just more speculation from everybody because what is it? Since at least Sword and Shield, I think they've just been doing everything on Pokemon Day. So this is just more
Yeah.
speculation from everybody's part, including myself. This has nothing to do with leakers.
Yeah, I know. Just temper. Yeah, temper your expectations.
But also, I think it's good to have this video out because I don't know. We always talk about Pokemon. We always talk about what we want or like what's bad about it. We don't ever have a video dedicated to it, and now we do.
That is true.
So
That's
now,
shocking.
yeah. So
Like
now we can reference it. Now we can reference this video, and be like,
You'll
this
put
is
it
what-
in the book.
Put it in the books, baby. I don't got anything else. Anyone else got anything else?
Nope.
Nope.
Cool. So, that's all I got. See ya.
Goodbye.